Good morning, my name is Patricio and I'm here to present the work titled From the Shepherd Tone to the Perpetual Melody Auditory Illusion. My goals were, first, compose digital music through a digital sound source based on the shepherd tone. Second, apply to the sound source an alternative spectral envelope, as far as I know, has never been used before to successfully reproduce the shepherd scale illusion. Third, apply the shepherd scale illusion to a melody with the purpose of verifying if the illusion's sonic sensation of perpetuity is maintained during its repetition. And lastly, test the plasticity and musicality of the sound source through a musical composition. Introduction. In 1964, Roger Shepard built an auditory illusion widely known as the shepherd scale illusion. The shepherd scale illusion is a musical scale divided into 12 equal parts. When it is heard, it creates the auditory perception that it never ends. In general terms, Shepard produced the illusion through the creation of the shepherd tone. The shepherd tone is a complex sound constituted by 10 components separated by octave intervals, to which a bell-shaped spectral envelope was applied. Related work. The following authors, Pollack, Burns, and Nakajima, used a triangular spectral envelope. Authors such as Shepard, Risset, Oeda, and Deutsch used a bell-shaped spectral envelope. One should notice that in all spectral envelopes presented until now, the components of the extremities of the spectrum always have the lowest amplitudes, whereas the central components always have the higher ones. Sound source. The sound source that is being proposed is a complex sound constituted by 9 components separated by octave intervals, to which an alternative spectral envelope was applied. The alternative spectral envelope was determined by the following equation. The frequencies introduced in the variable of the equation will be heard with the same intensity of a pure tone of 1000 Hz, the reference frequency. The next figure depicts the alternative spectral envelope obtained to the sound source. To the contrary of all spectral envelopes previously presented in the alternative one, the higher amplitudes always are in the rightmost components of the spectrum. As the shepherd tone, the sound source also is an ambiguous sound in terms of pitch. It will probably be easy to identify the musical note of the sound but it will be very difficult to determine the octave that belongs to. An example. Experiment. I carried out an experiment in which the sound source was applied to musical exercises. I'm going to share the experiment with you. First, we go to listen again the original sound of the Shepard scale illusion, the referency sound. Exercise number 1. Is the Shepard scale illusion successfully reproduced? Exercise number 2. Is the sonic sensation of perpetuity maintained during the repetition of a melody? The melody is constituted by 10 musical notes spread along 2 majors. It goes up 1 semitone every 2 majors and is repeated 12 times. Concerning to overall findings, in a population of 20 students of music performance and composition, 80% considered that the sound source reproduced successfully the Shepard scale illusion in the first exercise, and the sonic sensation of perpetuity was maintained in the second one. Musical composition. To test the plasticity and the musicality of the sound source, I composed a music titled Perpetual Melody Contrasting Moments. In the composition, beyond of the aesthetic issues, the sound source was tested to its limit in terms of pitch, timbre, tempo, amplitude envelopes, in addition to has been applied to a basic frequency modulation circuit. Let's go to listen a few seconds of some moments. conclusions, the initial challenge of applying an alternative spectral envelope to the sound source, as far as I know, had never been used before to successfully reproduce a Shepard scale illusion, was widely overcome. The sound source has successfully reproduced the Shepard scale illusion even when applied to the melody. The melody will be called perpetual melody auditory illusion because when it is heard, it creates the auditory perception that it never ends, as is the case with the Shepard scale illusion. Through the musical composition, the sound source has also shown that it could be a fruitful sound generator for composing digital music. Applying the sound source to other digital sound synthesis techniques such as ring modulation with the purpose of finding new timbres for composing new music will be the future direction of this work. This work was supported by the Portuguese Foundation for Science and Technology, supervised by António Sousa Dias. I would also like to thank Ericonha, António Ferreira, Helena Mena Matos, Sofia Lourenço, and especially to Luís Gustavo Martins for his suggestions and critical comments. And lastly, to SMC, the granted opportunity, to all and to you, Mang Tak.